Howdy, welcome. I'm Michael D.HenryIII, and today, and hopefully in the future as well, I'm gonna be bringing you a One Piece theory reveal video. And yeah, I hope you enjoy, and if you do, don't forget to drop a like or subscribe, or even leave a comment if you feel so uh, inclined, I guess. Have fun. Alright, to kick things off, let's talk about a reveal that will likely go unnoticed by most of the community for at least a couple more arcs. Or until we're given a written exposition dump by Oda on Conqueror's Haki and Haki in general. However, for readers who want to go deeper in, and I've dived in, you can find or make a revelation about Luffy's Gear 5 power set. And that's that Luffy has shadow manipulation powers in Gear 5, similar to Gecko Moria from Thriller Bark. And yeah, shadows were introduced in Thriller Bark. Like, that whole arc was about shadows, and it was shown that everything has a shadow, which is a reflection of one's soul. Gecko Moria, the main big bad of that arc, could manipulate those shadows in the same way we saw Luffy manipulate his environment. It was shown that he could stretch Or's arms out through active manipulation of his Devil Fruit ability. And it's like, seems like because Gecko Moria had the shadow fruit, he could manipulate the shadows directly. But because Luffy has the sun god Nika fruit, he can cast off light and shape those shadows indirectly, which is why he has to make physical contact with someone to like impose his will on them. It's also likely why he needed to use or learn Ryo to incorporate Gear 5 into his arsenal, because he needed to be able to insert his haki into people and like actively take them over to manipulate their shadows. This explains how Luffy could stay in Gum Gum Giant, how he could use Kaido as a giant jump rope, or even restart his own heart when at the very start of Gear 5 when he initially came back. Essentially, Luffy can just use his willpower to manipulate others or his own shadow, and his own shadow, because his body is rubber, there's no limit to the shape or form he can take, because he'll always snap back to his original form. So he's safe to do whatever he wants or fight in whatever way he can imagine, as Sun God Nika can. And it's just the truly most freest power on the sea. And it's very fitting for Luffy, obviously. It's always been a very freedom-orientated person, and this is it. However, this is only where the reveal starts. Trust me on this. Because Sun God Nika uses shadows as the basis of their power set, this opens the door for shadows to be the basis of almost every other power mechanism in One Piece. If we're talking about Devil Fruits, if we're talking about Haki, if we're talking about Black Blade even, like, all of that could be explained through shadows. Give me a sec, I'll get to it. Where should I start? I guess Haki, because that's the first one I said. Armament Haki, that's the most straightforward of the three Haki types. That's just you're putting your soul overlapped onto your, or your shadow overlapped onto your soul, and that's why your arm becomes black, or your sword becomes black too, because you're just overlapping your shadow, your soul, onto that, your sword, and then overlapping the sword shadow onto that again, which is 4 times the power. So normal armament Haki is 2 times the power. Black Blade is 4 times, or at least in how I've equated it to be, because it seems like that's the power boost in strength you get, is like a reasonable power boost in strength, but then you can also, Haki allows you to penetrate others' defenses more than anything else, and that's why it's important, not because it boosts your strength that much, Instead, Observation Haki, or not instead, next Observation Haki is just sensitivity to souls or shadows. And that's seen when Usopp is taking the shot on Dressrosa. He's like pulling back. He's like, oh, I see these 3 orbs that are glowing white in a blue void. Oh, that kind of seems like soul related, right? And then everything else fills out because inanimate objects have been shown to have shadows, obviously, and Zoro said everything has a breath, so they might even have souls. And so it makes sense why observation Haki would give someone that perception from so far away, because that's what observation Haki is just understanding where souls are. And if everything has a soul, you could just know where everything is from any distance. And yeah, Conquerors, a little more tricky to explain. I think the black lightning is a representation of someone using their soul or their shadow to like interact with other people's souls and shadows, and that's why weak people pass out when they're around strong Conquerors Haki users, because like their soul can't take it, like the shock. But I don't know. Conquerors is a mystery. It's gonna get explained eventually. I need that explanation too, but I know a little bit. And yeah, devil fruits now. That's the second one I said, right? Devil fruits. I already explained Black Blade anyways, so devil fruits go the same way. Zoans, very straightforward. We've already seen people transform their shape. All we need to do is change the color, which seems like if Luffy's casting light, there's like some element to light in your soul, maybe? And so like that makes sense, right? And if Usopp, when he saw the souls, they were like balls of white, like maybe like, you know, color is just variation of light, right? And so I don't know, it seems likely that stuff could also be interactive. And so bam, there you got your complete transformation into whatever you want, a big dragon like Kaido, or if you want. And also explains like partial transformations. You can just change your arm, because shadow manipulation has been shown to be really flexible like that. What else? Next is I guess Logia is easier to explain, because Logia is just inanimate objects and their shadows, and because there's no willpower, the Logias come like pre-jacked awakened pretty much as soon as you get the fruit, and that's why they're so powerful, and you can like dodge everything, and like you don't really have like a natural like shape anymore, is because you're already like super in tuned with your Logia. So like that's what the awakening power would be, but everyone gets it automatically pretty much, at least from what I understand. And then Paramecia, it either falls into like a random version of like a Logia or a Zoan that didn't like, because a Zoan transformation into a spring wouldn't get classified as a Zoan, but that's what Bellamy is, right? And so it's a Paramecia. And then Logia, we've seen what Logia type users have we seen? I guess like Blade. I don't know. Or a gel or something. There's been a ton of stuff. I haven't really prepared a list for this, but you know, that's how it works. But then there's like some odd cases still in Paramecia. So devil fruits still have a little mystery in them too, but it's like there's enough standout devil fruits that I think there's just like god abilities at work that we haven't learned about yet. So I think that's explained for like the outliers in Paramecia. And then yeah, that's it. Shadows, they're a thing. They're out there. Be aware. They're gonna come up in these next couple of arcs, especially because Blackbeard has alremi got his hands on Gecko Moria if he decides to keep that devil fruit for himself. Because I think the Yami Yami no Mi with the darkness fruit, with the shadow fruit too, would be really powerful, because you could like cut their shadows from like distance, you know, and just take everyone's shadow at once. and like force them to work for you or some shit. Like I bet that's like Blackbeard's plan, right? Did I just discover Blackbeard's plan? Oh, find out next time. Don't forget to hit a like or subscribe in the comments, or all that jazz that YouTubers say, because I'm one of those guys now.